Hey, how's it going, everybody? So today I'm going to show you the settings that I have for my best gameplay in Call of Duty Black Ops 6. You can go ahead and copy these if you like. Just keep in mind that depending on your hardware, your monitors, your GPU, a lot of this can vary. And then of course you can go ahead and copy them and kind of like tweak them out and change them if you need to or as needed. That way you can get the best gameplay experience that you possibly can. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Okay, so we're going to start off in the interface section. A lot of these, I'll try to explain some of these, but I won't go too much into detail. So menu prompts, I have it set as controller since that is the main way that I'm currently playing. All of this is, again, suggestions, tutorials, I have them on. Skip kill cam off. Basically, go ahead and copy these right here. Telemetry, also have them as off. You can add them to so you can see like your FPS counter and whatnot, but again, you can change these. So for me, I just have it off, just less stuff on the screen, you know, makes it easier for me to focus. Readability, again, you can go ahead and change the sizes of subtitles and whatnot. Color customization may be one that you might want to change. So from what I've seen, you can go ahead and change the color of your teammates, your opponents, basically anything that you can see visually in the map you can change. I have it as default. If you go down, what I do suggest is that you activate one of these filters. That way it kind of gives more color and life to the map. So what you would do is just go ahead and select the filter. Filter target would be both, and then you would just increase these both to 100. I believe interface color is already 100, and then world is at 75. So just go ahead and switch that. And then of course you can always switch them to your preference as needed. So let's go back. Let's go to gameplay HUD, starting from the top. HUD bounds, you want to go ahead and set them typically to the size of your screen. However, from what I've noticed is that you can actually make it smaller. That way your hit points, your menu items, your map is closer to the middle of the screen. This is typically useful for me when I use my ultra wide monitor. That way I don't have to turn my head to see kind of what my health is at or what's going on. But since I'm using my gaming monitor, I just leave it at max and then apply. The minimap shape, I suggest you switch it to square. As you can see from here, having it as square gives you a bit more visibility. So I would definitely switch that to square. Minimap rotation, I have it as on, as it just keeps me kind of aware as to what's coming in front of me or to the side of me without having to really, you know, think too much about it. I have this as off. Compass type, I have it as a map. If you don't want it as a map, you can have it horizontal and it'll just show at the top kind of which way you're looking. And then I have this at 10 seconds. Go ahead and copy these if you want. There's all visibility for widgets. So yeah, that pretty much concludes this part here. One other thing that I did want to show you actually is if you go to multiplayer HUD presets, you can actually switch how everything looks, whether it's the location, whether it's flipping it from one side to the other. You can definitely find something that you're gonna like. Right now I do have it as standard, but I can also see, you know, some of these being more useful than others. All right, we're gonna go over to audio. The game volume, I have it at 100, music at 20, dialogue at 60. Music to me doesn't really matter much. The dialogue, I have it on because in case somebody activates a UAV, you get that person telling you, the NPC telling you that a UAV has been activated or a kill streak's coming. Effects volume for like gunshots, explosions, I have it up because it also helps you to, for example, hear your opponent's footsteps and whatnot. Cinematic music 20 as well. My audio is at default. I have enhanced headphone on. I'm not sure if it works in the way that it's supposed to, but it's supposed to give you a better audio let's say visibility. That way you can hear better, you know, where the footsteps may be coming from, for example. But since I do have a Razer headset, it has its own program that kind of helps me with that. Audio mix has headphones because I'm using headphones. You can also switch it to different things, you know, such as have more bass and whatnot. And then yeah, that's it for here. Voice chat, I have it at 60. Some of my friends, they speak very loud. Some of them don't speak very loud at all. I do want to hear them, but I do also want to focus on the game, especially if you're like the only one alive and everybody's telling you what to do, then it can get really hectic. I like having last words voice chat on because if you can hear the opponents that you kill, it's something that's pretty funny. So yeah, here's what I have it as. That's it. Okay, let's go to graphics. This is where a lot of these settings are going to change for you as well. I use full screen borderless because I've heard that full screen gives you better FPS. I have it as borderless because I do find myself moving my mouse a lot, especially when recording videos or live streaming. So I have that as that. My display monitor is Ultra Gear. My graphics card is here. This is all set on auto based on what my screen has or can run. Aspect ratio is that's automatic, but as you can see on the screen, you can switch the boxes around. That way you can kind of see differently, depending whether you want to see a wider map or just be a little bit more zoomed in. I have mine as automatic. And then you can go ahead and copy these as well. I've heard that VSyncs help some people to maintain the FPS as well, make sure that the screen doesn't start cutting or chopping. But I have mine as off. Sometimes, or at least in previous Call of Duty games, I would have to turn it on and then I don't know, return it off depending on updates. If you see my previous videos, they also go more into that, but for now I believe you'll just be able to have it off. Custom frame rate limit, I want to use my full screen's frame rate, so I have that at 240 for my gameplay, 120 for the menu, and then out of focus I just have it as 30 as well. So optimal is what I have here. Off, 10 minutes, focus mode, HDR, I have it as automatic. You can also calibrate it by using this tool here. So essentially, you can probably use this and then go here, but I just have it as automatic, to be honest. Quality, I have it as custom. Render resolution, this is what I have it as. And I feel like it gives me a very crisp gameplay. So that's why I have it as 2573 by 1447. But again, this resolution, rendering resolution might depend on your screen, your GPU and whatnot. So I would suggest you look at the impact that it currently shows. You can see that on the CPU it's very low, on the GPU it's high, the VRAM is high. If you have a good GPU and you have a good amount of VRAM, then you can probably increase it little by little, but you obviously don't want to go into the red zone because that's kind of where you start seeing choppiness or lagging in the game. Dynamic resolution is currently off. This is off. On my VRAM scale, I want it at 80, just so that again the performance is good enough to where it allows me to play, but it doesn't mess up with my settings. So in essence, don't get too greedy, right? Don't go with max because it can mess up your game. Texture is high, depth of field is on, detail quality is on, particle resolution is high. All of these are high, but if you don't have a good graphics card again, or VRAM, you typically want most of these to be on low to very low, because again, the importance of the game, at least for competitive, is to have frames, high FPS. That way you can get your first shot out right before they shoot you. But again, since I can run it, I have it as high. Why not? If I start seeing that it gets, you know, laggy, which it hasn't, then I'll go ahead and lower these for sure. Yeah, so a lot of these are on or max, but again, you may have to change these settings as well after every update or so, if they do go into default. So I suggest just once in a while coming in to make sure that everything's as is. Again, all of these are high. If I were to put them lower, it wouldn't really help me out much because as it is right now, I get good FPS. But if you're not getting good FPS and you're lagging, then make sure you switch them. Near, high, high, ultra, and all. So I mean, clearly it shows the difference from left to right, what it is that you're changing. Most of these you might not even get to enjoy because you're in such a rush. So yeah, again, make sure you select the appropriate ones. Let's go ahead and discard. View, motion reduction preset, off, off. Field of view, I have it as 100. I think for my screen, I could even go higher to like 120 max or maybe even 110. That way you just see a little bit more of the map. Affected or independent. So this really only applies to iron sights and whatnot that are equipped. I have it as affected. You can just have it as independent, but that's what I have. Third person field of view, I never use it. So this is, I think, just at 80 because it is. The motion blurs, I suggest you turn them off. That way your vision is still clear as you move around. And as you move your gun, you want to keep that clarity. Just because you never know when somebody might pop out and you can immediately even hit fire and make sure that you get a kill, you know? 100 ADS. Inverted flashbang, I have as off. To me, this doesn't really matter. If it's too bright for you, turn it off. That way it's a darker flashbang. But yeah, that's that. Benchmark tool, you can go ahead and run this just so that it kind of checks what you currently have in your settings, and it should actually tell you whether or not the tool that you have is appropriate for the game. If you haven't noticed as well, at the bottom it tells you the estimated VRAM usage. So Black Ops 6 is currently using 5.96 gigabytes. You have a white target line there that kind of says, hey, keep it around this range, maybe a little lower. But if you start going a little bit higher, caution, which is what that triangle means, you may have issues running the game appropriately, or you may lag and so forth. Last but not least, I'll go ahead and show you what I have for my controller settings. Again, I'm playing a controller for COD. I feel like controller is better than mouse and keyboard, at least for Call of Duty. If you're playing other games like Fortnite, then mouse and keyboard are definitely the way to go. So I have my aiming input as controller, button layout as a default. I didn't change anything. Likewise, horizontal and vertical, I have it at 1.2. You can go ahead and change it. That way, if it's too fast, you can slow it down, or vice versa, make it faster. I have all these as off. Controller vibration is at on because I feel like it doesn't mess me up as much as it used to. I've gotten used to it. I typically hold my controller pretty firm, but if your aim isn't that good, I would suggest you just turn it off. And for the sake of it, let's go ahead and turn it off. My aim isn't that good with my kitty. That way it doesn't mess you up when you're shooting. Here are some dead zone inputs. I believe most of these are at default, but you can go ahead and change these. That way it takes up either more effort or less effort and strength for a button to react, essentially, right? So if you feel like, for example, you want the right trigger to be pressed down less, then you want the number to be lower. But if you go higher, as you can see, then that means you need more force to be able to get that RT to respond. So now, right now I have it as 13. That way I don't accidentally just lightly tap it and it like starts shooting or whatnot, right? So yeah, this is what I have them as. You can always work with those and test them out. But yeah, again, you can even turn this on and test it out. So let's go to aiming. I have everything as one. You can go ahead and obviously change these so that they're specific to what you are doing. But yeah, everything is default as far as I know. We do want to go ahead and actually change a few things here. So if you go to aiming and then go to aiming advanced settings, you're going to want to change this to instant. That way you instant aim down and it doesn't just kind of like gradually go into aim mode. It's going to help you out a lot. If you also go down to custom sensitivity per zoom, I suggest you go from 0.8 to 1. It's going to increase your aim by quite a bit. If you feel that it's off, go ahead and just mess with it again from 0.8 to 1, and then you should see some pretty great improvements. Sprint assist, I have it as off. I don't feel like you need sprint assist. It doesn't really help that much. Mental assist, I have it as off as well. Crash assist, off. Corner slides, I have it as on. That way your camera gets ready if you're about to like aim your weapon. So I have this as on. Slide die behavior, I have it as tap to slide. I feel like it's better. That way it doesn't mess me up. Slide dive activation delay is on medium. Automatic airborne mantle, I have it as on. Just in case I happen to fall from somewhere, I can possibly grab onto something. This is just a preference, but you can also have partial. So where you're falling, you just press, for example, A, like crazy, making sure that you grapple onto something. But I have it as on. You can have it as off if you don't need to use it or if it messes you up. I have everything else as on. Free fall behavior, mantle cancels reload. Yeah, I have it as on. If we go down to combat, my aim down is as hold. I don't want to just press it and then it stays like that. I want to make sure that if I let go of it, it stops aiming. That way I can go back into, you know, the fight shooting. I have this as ADS plus melee, hold and melee, prioritize finishing move. You can actually prioritize body shield. And I think I might do this because that way, if for whatever reason you're close to getting finishing move, but it doesn't quite pull through, the opponent doesn't just like turn around randomly and kill you. If you use a body shield, then it's more likely for you to grab them, and that way at least have them ready, you know, and then execute them. Or if their teammates are coming, instead of you getting ready to kill them, then they would use them as a body shield. That way the body shield takes some shots, and that way you can, you know, go away or shoot them. I have the armor play behavior as apply all. You can always go ahead and cancel it. I just feel like it's easier for me just to start doing it all. C4 detonation all at once, equipment behavior hold, manual fire, press, combat advanced settings. This is what I have as well. You can go ahead and copy it. I have cancel reload as off just because when I'm running, I don't want it to stop reloading. So there's that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I know that there's a lot to go over, and it was although lengthy, it wasn't too in-depth, but I feel like a lot of these are pretty self-explained. These are just what I have everything as default. Can I go ahead and change the settings to make it better? Definitely, I definitely can. I'll probably do that in a future video, but as I'm barely, you know, getting back to the rhythm of it, these are the settings that have worked for me. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you need any additional help. I'm always glad to help out. If you're new to the channel, consider giving this video a like. If it helped you out, consider subscribing, checking out the other content. I'll go ahead and post an older video here that shows you some tips and tricks on how to get better. I feel like it's pretty useful. I actually made it pretty funny without trying to be funny as well. So you might enjoy it as well. And then just so you know, Saturdays I do try to upload Call of Duty content. Fridays I upload Fortnite. Sundays I upload just random stuff, typically stuff that I'm doing, playing, how-to fixes and whatnot. I do try to do a few shorts here and there, and then I live stream just randomly when I have time. If you're subscribed, you'll definitely see my live stream come on up. And then I also live stream to Twitch. Maybe one day or sometime soon I'll have a schedule, but for now, that's it. Again, thanks for watching. Appreciate you. See you next time.